And hello. How are you doing, guys? Welcome to the Animation Dojo. I'm your host, Pedro, and I've been animating for a couple of years now, almost 20. And I've been teaching the craft of animation for around 12 years now. Yeah, it's been a while. Who's counting? So, last class, we were doing the storyboards for our sequence on the bad news exercise. And let me just share the screen right now. This is what we end up with. So we got the first scene. It's a medium shot with a forest behind it. There's not that much perspective there. You can basically freehand this one. And the second layout would be this over here. And I see this is like a three quarters, three quarter up from the composition. You got a horizon line, and we can do this with two vanishing points. More than likely, we're gonna separate this layout in background and maybe in an underlay. And then the rock is going to be another animation level, and we have another animation level with Cryptid. So let's start with the layout. Oh, I'm not opening anything. Let's start with the layout for scene one, which is something that looks like this. Normally, what I do is I copy and place it where I need it. Something along the lines of this, that will work. So let's rough out, bring down the opacity and lock it. And at this point, we're gonna be like trying to look for a style of our backgrounds. Normally, there's a design department that will set up the look of the show, but I mean, we're working by ourselves here, so thinking of on a very like angular. Still looks like wood, but it's very like angular, like very stylized. I'm just exploring here, and as I clean it up, it might look like something. Hey, what's up, Roy? Like more than likely, the lines like within the trees are gonna be like really light, so that can be achieved through blending modes. So right now, I'm just trying to use the design elements to help me show that the tree is a solid 3D element and not flat. Hey, what's up, Joe? How you doing, man? Welcome to the dojo. Oh, I did some work on the intro, like I'm gonna have an intro ready like in a couple of weeks, I think. And I can show it right now. I already have like the guide. Ooh, and I didn't save. Let me save. Really finish this. I have to do the shadows, but the thing is already. Yeah. He's suffering a little bit from dancing nipples, which is something I will fix later. Just that you always like normally you pay attention to stuff, but some things might slip, and dancing nipples here is the problem. So the chest seems to like grow unnaturally as it progresses with the shake. So there's ways to control that. So I'll address that later. But yeah, this is where we are with the intro to the show. So that's gonna be fun. I've been watching a lot of uh, like animated shows, old and new, and man, it's not me bashing people's work, but you tend to see where they start like running out of money, especially in the backgrounds, man. Like the backgrounds at the beginning are basically pieces of art, and but in halfway through the show, there's a lot of recycling. There's a lot of like half-ass stuff. I don't know. You just notice if you pay attention. Especially in scenes where the camera's not moving, like you'll see that's where the attention to detail would be like take up the most time. Yeah, yeah, a multi-layer camera will make even like a dialogue scene more interesting because there are things happening. The parallax effect helps you with three-dimensionality. So yeah, and yeah, like this layout stuff, it's none of these first scene because this is pretty like simple. It's just a background and the animation layer. But in the next scene, I'm gonna separate the background and an underlay, which is basically an underlay would be a layer on top of the background but behind the animation. And then there's gonna be an animation layer, which is the rock that's gonna explode. So we're gonna go through that today. As always, I'm gonna do it roughly, and I'll clean it up on my own time, just to not to make the class that long. So these are the things that are in front of King Cryptid. So let's make like a very big tree here. Just whoops. Yeah. I mean, if we were working the old way, like paper and pencil, we would be making like we would be using our field guides, which is something that in the digital realm doesn't really make any sense because you can zoom in and zoom out to draw, but back then, like a close up would be like a field 8 to 7, like example. Let me show you here. So you see, there's like numbers here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, all the way up to 16. So normally, a field 12 will be like your full screen. If you're doing a close up, you might work in a field 8 to 6, which is this square over here, which which means you don't need to make like that much of a background. But nowadays, like it doesn't really apply because yeah, you can go as close and as detailed as you want because it's digital. But way back when, way back then, that was very important. It will save a lot of money using your field guides. So let's do something interesting here. Maybe here we can put like a rune or something. Yeah. I apologize. I was watching a documentary on German occultism in the 1940s and how they were using like runes to tell their own stories. So I don't know. The imagery stayed with me. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Maybe to make this interesting, I can add like an make this an underlayer and add a background with more like blurred trees, so we can do a little bit of parallax effect. So let's leave some space. Between the trees here, so save this. This is not storyboards. Let's make a new folder. It's called this layouts. That way you keep track of all the things you're doing. I mean, this is a nomenclature convention like I use when I'm working on projects by myself, or if I'm in front of an animation team. I would just go abbreviate the name of the show or project. In this case, Bad News would be BN, and scene, and add a three-digit number, so 001. That way, when you start like making a lot of them, uh, they're easy to find. Okay, so we got this. Maybe like there's like extra like where's this card? Okay. So that works. Now let's make the underlay. You see, I don't mind like drawing like behind the forms because these things are gonna be moving. More than likely, I will like bring the camera closer so it's not like right to the edge, so I can have some leeway and I can create a proper parallax movement. Yeah, that's gonna work as a layout now for scene 1. Now for scene 2, it's gonna be a little bit more complicated. So to make one, we might have to draw a little bit of perspective here. So let's bring in first what we need. This in here. Okay. Okay, so this is what we got. Lock this up. Now we need a new perspective ruler at 2 points. We're gonna go around here. Yeah, this works. It's gonna work, so now we can draw a grid. Uh, 40. Just doing this grid as a guide, really. Like, I'm gonna not like totally freehand the background, but I want to keep it like organic and loose. So let's start with the rock. So the rock is gonna be here. So this is gonna be the base of our rock. And we'll call this layer animation 2, because we can import this into OpenTunes or the software over choosing. So just make sure you're using the proper nomenclature right away. So this is going to be on its own layer. So this is an animation layer. Our next layer, let me bring down the opacity of this layer too. A little bit down. There we go. So we're gonna be doing. This is gonna be like a little bit of a hill here. So let's use another color, and maybe coming from. This tree is gonna be here. But remembering, let's make this tree a little bit more interesting. So we got this. And coming from scene 1, we'll have another tree right next to it. Be like around here. So the overall shape is So the tree here. So it's gonna be like behind the rock. So okay. Right. Need another one, and we're gonna make the trees behind the tree line. So the thing that's gonna be our best friend on this kind of on this kind of background is the coloring, and you just have to mute the colors as you go like back. So these trees in the back are going to be way more muted in color. uh, I'm picturing this is going to be a night scene, so maybe we'll have like some moonbeams coming from in between the tree foliage, just to make it distinctive and interesting to look at. But you don't need to go like into detail because these trees are pretty far away. But I don't know, like I'm picturing this like like dried woods with no leaves at all. There's gonna be like a lot of branches and whatnot. Okay. No, let's paint this in another color just for you guys. So we got background, underlay, and animation level. All three here. And let's just save this. Yeah, I'm gonna start cleanup today on the first one at least, but I just want to show you how do you go about just basically planning your scene and using the X sheet. Hey, what's up, Abigail? All right, so this is not the finished product. This is just like the rough. Let's take this and let's save it. Wait, let's save it properly. We're gonna need this one on its own. As a PNG would be better because PNGs you can do scene one. This would be the underlay. Underlay 001. And then this is going to be our background. So, no, okay, let's get rid of this, create a new scene, and let's call this scene Bad News. Scene 1. So we're in Bad News scene 1. Hey, glad to have you back, Abigail. So, okay, see layouts, Bad News. So this is as simple as basically dragging and dropping onto the scene what you need. And then in this case, we're gonna resize it. Well, the thing is, this is like kind of getting in the way, but this is like the asset manipulation tool, and you just I use the alt tool so you can scale it properly. I want to go a little bit bigger. We go to scale, yeah, 250% size would be normal. So let's go to 280. And on this one, we already know the size, so we go 280. So at this point, these two are pieces of artwork are at the. Hey, what's up, Dr. Mask? These two pieces of artwork are at the same position field wise, and you can see this graphically here, right? They're on the same size. What I like to do to make a great parallax effect is if I go to positioning, here you see you got like field 16. Let's bring column 1 to a 24 field. So you see it's already went to the back a bit. Now you see the limits of your camera here. It's gonna be too small to your scene, so I would just have to make it bigger, which is basically coming in here, going through a scale, and let's say 380, 420. I didn't even mean it to be 420, but yeah, that's how it goes. So if I move the camera, let's just say, let's just do a second and a half here. So if I move the camera here, let's say we're in position, we got the camera selected. So we go to the edge here at -40. We go to frame 36. And we go to 40 on this. And we turn on the camera. So you see, we have a really nice parallax effect going on. Oh, I hope you get better. There we go. Yeah, it's all right. Like the videos are on the channel. Like you can follow them there. I haven't really missed anything. But okay, this is too abrupt, and this is not what we're gonna do. But I just wanted to show you like how to do a very easily a nice parallax effect. So now we're gonna go on this side of the software. This is called an X sheet, and this is how you basically plan your animation, taking into account what you get on your storyboards. If you see on this side, you have 1 to 24. That's a second. So because we're animating at 24 frames per second, right? And you have, they're separated in groups of 6. So you go 6, 12, 18, 24. This really helps you. This really helps you to plan out how you're gonna do your animation. So, for example, if you go, we go to a storyboard. Our scene 1 is King Cryptid giving her back to the camera, coming from a fade in. So here, I will create my tune raster level. Let's use a sketch, a pencil, and let's use red so we can contrast the. So okay, so this is the pose. So let's be very structural, because I mean the cape is gonna be. You know what? Let's make a big pencil. Yeah, good. So Team Cryptid is a big board, so yeah, that's kind of how. Yeah, that's, you see, I'm using as many construction lines as I need to find the elements. Not really like thinking about volumes, but this is not the problem right now. Like how big things are and how they're placed, because I'm just trying to rough out the motion. So let's call this rough good. We have the cape. So okay, so we come to a fade in, right? So coming for black into the scene. So he's gonna stay in this position for a while. Normally a fade in, it's like a second, so 24 frames. We fill the empty all the way up to 24. We have 1 second here. And maybe we give him 12 more frames, so half a second more for it to react. And then he turns. So how long would this turn take us? From frame 12, I'll say he'll take, let's keep it square, half a second for him to turn. So on frame 47, we're gonna reach this pose. This pose here. So okay. Right. If we see this face of the cylinder, that means the arm is projecting forward. So that's why we use like geometric shapes, three-dimensional geometric shapes to construct our drawings, because that way we know where things are coming and where they're going. So we got chest here. Just get rid of this line here. Like for example, here I ran out of space, so to fit the crown, so I might just bring him down a bit. See, all the things with volume and whatnot, like right now you're paying attention to the motion more so than volume and all that stuff. So once you get the motion, that's one problem solved, and then you'll take care of, you know, volumes or like the shape of the hand. Like it sounds like it's easier if you'll do like everything really like accurate from the get-go. But I really recommend you guys to just separate the the tasks, so you can concentrate only in motion. And maybe like, oh, I drew the beard too long. Like, okay, like you can always clean it up later, you know. But so he's surprised here. So the cape. Okay. So this line for the cape is a little bit of a cape holder, because elements like that, I like to animate them like straight ahead, not really like pose to pose. It gives me, at least that's how my brain works. I can make things more fluid when I'm animating like straight ahead as opposed to pose to pose. So, okay, so from frame 35 to frame 48, he turns. So, you see, I'm looking for the tip of this element here to get a proper, like, you know what, let's make it another layer just so you guys can see what I'm looking for here. So this is my reference point. Now let me get rid of this. So this is my reference point for the turn, because I'm using this little spike here as an element as he goes from that pose to this pose. So let's just say at this point, he's gonna turn really slow. So Remember, you can be as rough as you can, as you want at this stage, because that's going to help you. So this is a reference point. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 frames. So we're going to make it really slow and then fast at the end. So this next pose is going to be like around here. This next pose is going to be like around here. This starts here. Okay. And the 51-minute mark. Okay, so here this little like horn element of the shoulder is gonna get in front of the head. See, so this line is helping me control like, the trajectory of this little horn. So there's little things that deltoid, bicep. Okay. Again, I'm looking more for a pose, like trying to keep track of my reference points, but I'll have to make like a volume pass later, just to make sure that everything is in place. You know what? At this point, we should be seeing that more of a profile of the face. And let's pay attention to that. Okay. I'm gonna need the onion skin for this positioning, so yeah, it should be around here. Because he dips down as he turns. So, I want it to be I want that to be as smooth as possible. And the overall position of the head. Oh, no, no, no. No, Ro, this is just me showing you guys how I do stuff. And dude, I have the honor and the privilege to know so many people with many like great IPs that I just ask for permission and they become part of the class. So everybody wins. At least I win. So yeah, like I treat this with the utmost respect. So I'm gonna make these classes look as professional as possible. And basically showing you guys, I mean, at least the way I do it. I'm not saying like I'm the only answer in town, but this is the way I do things, and it lends itself to great results. As I said, like all this information was like first-hand information coming from instructors that worked in the animation industry in the old days, and I really appreciate that. So uh, I just want to preserve it because I mean, even though like digital tools like make life easier, and it would be sad if we lost this information due to technology. So yeah. Say, so he's starting to open his eyes here. Okay. You see, normally in a studio environment, like this X sheet, what you got down here, that would be transcribed into a page and distributed to all the people involved in the scene. But since I'm working by myself, I'm just using the same principle of the X sheet to work to my advantage. So let's see. So we're coming. The cape is here and it ends up here. So let's place it like around here. There we go. So yeah, so normally like this is just for class purposes. Normally what I would do is grab all the key poses in a sequence and block them out. trying to figure out like how many drawings I see approximately uh, for every action. So let's bring this up to 3 seconds so you can have a clear idea of what we've accomplished in an hour of storyboards and rough animation. So we get this. You see? He turns. Okay. So next, let's go to page 2 of our storyboards. So he turns to get his attention. Then he processes the message and frowns. So how would that look time wise? So we got 48 seconds at the second at 2 seconds he turns. So let's give him. I like the fact that the cape gives me this nice trapezius to work from. Let's project back and front. So you can be as blocky and as rough as you can because we're just trying to like capture the pose and work on the acting. The details will come later. Yeah. See, how's this timing working? Hmm? Hmm? Yeah. Yeah. That's basically it's basically that. You get your rough animation, then you clean it up. Like normally, it would look like this, and I prefer to work like this if I'm going full out. This is how you get the best results. Like normally, when you like use a rigged character, whether it's CGI or 2D, it tends to uh, it tends to limit the things you can do, and I don't know. It becomes like formulaic, and I don't know. Like maybe I'm being too rough on modern animation, but I don't know. It just feels like that to me. It feels like formulaic. So you see, you start blocking your actions like this, right? So at this point, you're deciding whether your timing is correct or is this saying what you need the scene to say. So you go really roughly, just blocking out the poses, and here he's listening intently. So this is going to be a very long scene. So let's go to 4 seconds here. At frame 73, he maybe leans forward a bit. Maybe he projects his shoulders backward a bit. Yeah, I mean, I will reach out to Kelsey at some point. Like we're in really good terms, but I mean, he lives in Mountain Time. I don't know what. I don't know. To me, he looks like Paul Bunyan, and he's like that, like a legend that comes and goes. So I'm really not gonna force it, but yeah, I would love to see Kelsey like. And I mean, he's a way better artist than I am, so it would enrich each other. Okay, so he leans forward and see, that's how you basically block your. Oh, yeah, yeah, dude. Like we all need to eat, man. So I completely understand. Like if this channel gets somewhere and I can like I don't know get people to help me out and it will mean something for their pocket. Like yeah, I most definitely would do that. But at this junction, it's not really possible. I'm just starting. But yeah, I mean, we have plenty of things to cover. Like after this exercise, like this is gonna be a couple of classes, just doing this one. But we still have to do sound sync, lip syncs. We need to animate animals. There's plenty of classes that are like planned for the maybe the not the next of the year, but a good couple of months of classes. So I wouldn't be worried. Like yeah, same. So this here, he's processing the information, and then he knows it's bad news. So here, His head is gonna do this little trip down. See? So this is what we got so far. Let's do 100. Let's make it cool 5 seconds here. Okay. Yeah, he needs a little bit more time to process the information, I think, before he goes down. So let's move this. Frame 103. Whoops. Let's see now how it works. Yeah, that works a lot better. So as I showed you in the beginning, I think that a little bit of camera move with parallax will make this interesting. So let's check if we have things in the proper position. There we go. You know, we can move the background. So our background is on a field 16. Our characters in a field 16 are field 24. So let's move this to a field 20. And let's see how we have to adjust the size. Scale. The 350. There we go. $25 and minus 25. Let's see how that looks. Whoops, I screwed up. And this is the keyframe I want. See? There we go. So you see the speeds are like ever so slightly different from the background, the underlay, and the animation. And that's a nice little parallax effect that you can achieve by simply knowing how to use your field guides. So yeah, I think we're gonna stop here for today. I don't want to bother you with that a lot of information. So let's review what we've done today. Let's just save this. So first, we were working on our layouts. We look at our storyboard. So we have a very like rough idea of what we want as a background. We import that into a 16 by 9 at 300 dpi, and we just did a rough layout. This is going to be cleaned up during the week. I'll post how the cleanup backgrounds are going to look on X more than likely. Let me just save. This is not a PNG. This is a clip format. There we go. And for the second background, the same thing. It's very rough. We created a grid for it, which is here. And we grab what we had on the, see, what we had on the storyboard as a reference, cleaned it up a little bit with a perspective grid, and just place the elements we need. This is going to be cleaned up. This is going to be very painterly, so more than likely, maybe on Thursday, I'll work only on this layout. So you can see like a simplified Genndy Tartakovsky-esque Samurai Jack style background, which I think is going to work well with the character design. So yeah, that's going to be on Thursday. I'm gonna do that live for you guys, and then with our rough layouts done, we came to OpenToons, created our first scene for Bad News, and started blocking out our animation using the X sheet as a tool to basically create our timing. And yeah, guys, this is basically it. That's what we got so far. This scene needs a couple more moments, so this is gonna be a long scene, like around 7 seconds, I think. But it's gonna look cool. So thank you so much for joining me today in the Animation Dojo. And I'll see you guys next Thursday as we keep working on Bad News. It's my pleasure to be doing this in front of you and just sharing what I know. So see you Thursday, guys. Take care.